Hey everyone, make sure to microchip your pets. That is the advice of the Hawaiian Humane Society and Honolulu CrimeStoppers. They're teaming up after an unchipped puppy was saved by an officer at the Waianae Boat Harbor. That officer ended up adopting the pup, so a happy ending there. Experts say that microchips, along with ID tags, dramatically increase the chances of lost pets being reunited with their families. Hawaii state law requires pets to be microchipped or licensed, and affordable services are available through the Hawaiian Humane Society.